In this video, I'll be going through the 48 laws of power, and today we're covering law number 10, law number 11, and law number 12. Law number 10 says, avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. As humans, we are affected by the attitudes of people around us. Energies, moods, vibes, these things are all contagious. If we surround ourselves with people who are unlucky, ungrateful, lazy, unambitious, sad, sooner or later, we will begin to adopt these same characteristics. And you might be thinking to yourself, I can help such people. No, don't even try. Law number 10 states that these people should be avoided. Otherwise, their energy will rub off on you. And if you do not flee, you will suffer the consequences and inherit their misfortune. For example, I remember a time when I was coming back from an event with my friends. We were having the time of our lives. The mood was high. We were blasting our music. We were singing along to our favorite songs. And then suddenly we saw a flash. We reversed the vehicle and realized that the flash had come from a speeding camera. Vibes dropped instantly and we continued the rest of the journey in silence. Obviously, the driver was affected because he or she was about to get a fine and potentially receive points on their license. But it wasn't only the driver who was affected. Even the passengers, who were not going to have any consequences as a result of this incident, were also as negatively affected. That's an example of this law working in a negative scenario, but it can also work positively. If you surround yourself with people who are high energy, happy, laughing, you will begin to feel that same way as well, unless of course you are a hater and you get a degree of pleasure from the misfortune of other people. But for everyone else who isn't a hater, generally spending time with people who are in a positive mood also increases your mood. This is exploited all the time in comedy shows. These people will play a soundtrack of people laughing when a joke is told, and they know that this is likely to increase our chances of laughing, even though we're very aware that this laughter is pre-recorded. It works. It just works. As I started off by saying, moods are contagious, energies are contagious, vibes are contagious. If you spend your time with people who are miserable, you are more likely to become miserable yourself. Similarly, if you spend your time with people who are happy and joyful, you are more likely to become happy and joyful yourself. And for those of you who are still thinking, I can help these people, I know I can help them, don't. Otherwise, you will run the risk of their problems becoming your problems, their issues becoming your issues, and their misfortune becoming your misfortune. Law number 11 says, learn to keep people dependent on you. The most valuable people are people who are irreplaceable, people who are indispensable, people who, if they are not there, things which would otherwise happen will not happen. If you want power, if you want influence, you must learn to keep people dependent on you. We see this all the time when criminals kidnap people and hold them hostage. They know that once they do this, they can ask the loved ones of the kidnapped person for any outrageous demand. They can set an outrageous price for a ransom and people are likely to pay it. Why? Because they are dependent upon to release the individual or at least not kill them. Obviously, I'm not saying go out there, kidnap someone and hold them hostage. However, you can hold people hostage with your skills, or you can hold them hostage with your expertise. If you know something that nobody else knows, or if you can do something which nobody else can do, people will be dependent on you because you're rare. They can't find you anywhere else. So learn something, gain expertise, and you'll begin to get this same amount of power that kidnappers have. Oh, no, I'm joking. But you get the point. You'll be able to have a certain amount of influence which you wouldn't otherwise have if you were just indispensable. Example number 1 is Michelangelo. Michelangelo was a Renaissance painter / sculptor / architect slash poet. These guys could do pretty much anything. In those days, these people needed funding for their projects. They couldn't just go out there and do stuff. They needed money for their materials, money for land, and the people who they asked for money were called patrons. So there was a particular incident where the Pope hired Michelangelo to work on a building for him. Essentially, the Pope was his patron. Well, they ended up in a huge disagreement, and everybody thought that the Pope was going to fire Michelangelo. But the Pope did not do this, and people were surprised, wondering, hold on a second, why is he still paying Michelangelo? The reason is simple. The Pope knew that he could not find another Michelangelo very easily, but Michelangelo could easily find another patron. Another example the book gives is that of Henry Kissinger, who was a politician in the US government back in the administration of President Nixon, if you guys know history. Richard Nixon didn't get along with Henry Kissinger. However, Kissinger could not be gotten rid of because he had involved himself and interwoven himself with the political structure so much that getting rid of him would have caused chaos. Michelangelo's knowledge was deep and intensive. Henry Kissinger's knowledge was wide and extensive. Either one of these approaches will work. Obviously, this isn't something that you would do in your personal life. If you desire to keep people dependent on you, that is downright unethical. However, in your job and in your profession, this is something that you may have to do because unfortunately, we live in a cutthroat society. The world does not reward people who are easily replaceable. It rewards people who are depended upon. Law number 12 says, use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Humans are not naturally trusting people. We have a guard up and we're vigilant when we first encounter people, which is good, it's normal. However, this law says if you use selective generosity and honesty, you have a higher chance of breaking down the walls that people naturally build. A classic example of this is the free trial. How many times have you registered for a 3-month or 6-month trial and then eventually ended up paying full price for something which you never intended to get in the first place? Advertisers know that we naturally have our guard up, and if they were to approach us with their full offer, we would probably say no. But if they sweet talk us with a generous 3-month or 6-month trial, we are far more likely to buy. Another example is in social interactions. I'm always weary when people start to disclose very personal information early on in the friendship. That should be a worry to you too. If you find people giving you disclosures of deep personal information when the friendship doesn't even warrant that yet, it's likely that they're trying to get close to you so that they can use you for something later on down the line. The scary thing is, most people who do this don't even know that they're trying to do this. They're subconsciously applying law number 12. So this is one of those laws to be wary of, to be vigilant of, because it is used more times than you might think. There are very few things in life which come with no strings attached. Money, gifts, or even a disclosure of personal information. These things can all be used to gain an advantage later on down the line. That is law number 10, law number 11, and law number 12 from the 48 laws of power. If you liked this video, I'm certain that you will like the other videos that I've made on the 48 laws of power. You will find them in this playlist here. With that being said, see you next time. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn on notifications so that you can be alerted whenever a new video is released.